Yeah, show him I can still rap though. Now I'm in the game, I was on the bench. First I was renting, now I'm collecting rent. Run it up. First it with the Beamer, now I want the Benz. Spending all the bag like here I go again. Outside says chirp, now the camera phone. Told you I'ma keep the channels on. Why you acting different when the camera's on? Why you acting different like your paper long? 8 day wake up and I thank God. Bad decision got you wishing you could say nah. My city gritty, you could get hit any day now. On my mama, I'ma move my family way out. With some 20s, 50s, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, zillions. I'm talking Amazon money, talking so much money I could mess around and buy Amazon. I been winning, I'm like, why me? I heard these labels wanna buy me. I don't need you, boo, I style me. I roll G's and they grind me. Now I'm on my game, nothing is the same. Who am I to blame? Money made me change. Cardi in my ring when I'm switching lanes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Now I got $1 for all those rainy days. Ain't have a day off in like 80 days. I got hustles in like 80 ways. Kids if he won't take a lazy day. Wifey on me told me take a break. I keep going to the paper street. Then it's trips out to Montego Bay. If I take the job, bet I'll get it done. I said it before, I'm a 101. I just caught some ones, only wearing ones. Fornicate the funds, money made me calm. Diamonds on your neck, bet they on your neck. You want that watch, you better rock a tech. You want that chain, you better cop a vest. You want the check, but can you make it stretch? Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm backed up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car to get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault. I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll.
The voice of Master Chief, Spartan 117. And you're tuned in to Next Podcast. Now, wake me when you need me.
He's on his throne.
Yo,
somebody's got to Thanos his ass off.
Oh no, guys, you heard it. People in the chat, you have heard it. What is going on, people? We are live with the Next Podcast, and you should have heard. You should have heard the blasphemy going on before the show went live, man. I wish I wish you could hear it, but unfortunately, you're just gonna have to take my word for it. But you're in for an awesome show. I am excited to do tonight's show. It is I just punched out of work. I'm on a week-long vacation. I'm sitting back comfortable. I got my coffee. I got some Lipton Brisk iced tea. That's right. I don't know, like I won't drink or anything like alcohol while I'm doing a show or playing video games. But I am comfortable. And I hope you guys are comfortable too, because we have some awesome topics to discuss, and I have to get into the intros. Now, before I get into the intros, guys, that YouTube business side of things, guys, hit the thumbs up button. Share this show out. Copy and paste out there onto social media. Let people know where you are and that you are hanging out with the next podcast crew tonight. Yeah, that's called a flubble, by the way. Like, there's a radio station in Connecticut, WPLR, and every Friday they collect every single time, like, the people of that show make a mistake and they replay it back and they call them flubbles. So that was a flubble right there. You guys caught it live. But definitely share the show out. Let people know that we are live right now. We are going in on some of the hottest gaming topics of the week. And let's get into the intros. Now, first off, I'm going to start with the man who lives closest to me. Now, we tried to persuade him to be, drop his job and to just start getting paid, training and teaching people how to play multiplayer in Gears. But he's like, you know what? It's just for the love of the game. Love hanging out with my friends and killing some strangers, man. That's what he likes to do in the multiplayer. He is the creator of #CrispyTruth. It is Crispy Bomb. What is up, bro?
But have you taken me up on my offer or what?
Which offer? Because you've done some pretty crazy offers. I can play Gears. I love the story. I love playing story. Campaign is great.
That's not.
That is Gears. It's Gears.
It's like telling me that's Destiny.
Well, dude, if you're only into PvE and Destiny, that's no problem. I could go in with Gambit. Nightfall.
Yeah, dude. Like, come on.
Yeah, I got friends that will not play.
You got one little half of the game. So I'll give that to you. I will gladly carry you through it. That's fine.
You don't have to carry me. I can live through the campaign, no problem, bro.
Oh, come on, dude. On what level? Fucking easy? Come on.
Oh no, I don't play anything on easy. At least normal and then higher.
Okay, so hardcore.
Yeah, I don't play crap gamer mode, man. Shout out to my brother Crap. I don't play crap gamer mode. I don't go easy.
If you prove me wrong at some point, and we'll go through it hardcore, whatever Gears you want.
Hardcore. No, I think I jumped into one of K Mega's games one time. He was playing on like a harder level in Gears.
I was playing Gears.
I jumped in. Yeah. I was like, yo, what's going on?
On the hardest difficulty.
I died like 5 times and I jumped out without even telling him. I'm like, peace, I'm out. Yeah.
Well, if you could jump in, it was probably either, Gears 5. Generally,
I think it was Gears 4, actually.
It was 4.
Gears 4. Yeah. Okay, all right. Good for you. You got out when you should. But
thank you.
It's gonna be a fun night. We got a lot of great topics, and I'm looking forward to it. Let's do it.
Yes, brother. And next on the list, this man has been here from the beginning. Some people is like, I don't know how he does it, and I don't see anybody out there saying I don't know how Xbot does it. But it is all good. It is my brother coming live from the 405. It is K Mega, and trust me, he's in a spicy mood tonight. Yo, what's going on, K Mega?
Right, and when you say relaxed, when I envision being relaxed, you're sitting in your drawers, have a handful of female ass in your hand, and it's what I'm saying, and there's tequila.
I know alcohol.
So I don't, I don't know, I mean, that's my relaxation.
Come off, so come on.
I got my basketball shorts on. I don't have a handful of female ass. I do have my vape in my hand. I'm kicked back in my gaming chair.
That's his female.
I got my house shoes on, brother. I got my house shoes on.
I hate that I'm in the Insiders Club right now because I can't because that's perfect for the sound effects, but that's okay. Don't be back on. But yeah, no, I'm ready to have a good show. Fred will be here a little bit later. He said he was running late, so and it didn't matter because the host of the podcast is running late too. So
Yeah, well, it was a work day, and you guys do realize how much like I speed and stuff like that to get home and to get this show started as soon as I can. But my panel doesn't realize that, and they make fun of me.
Connecticut is only 20
constantly.
minutes from one side to the other.
That is not true. That is at
That is
get
absolutely
get
not
him.
true.
Get him.
There's no way.
Get him.
20. I'm sorry, 30 minutes. My bad.
No.
Even Rhode Island, if you go south to north, is not 20 minutes, bro.
30 minutes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Continue.
it's an hour, and that's straight through without traffic.
Ooh. Dude, what are you doing in Rhode Island, man? They got a huge drug problem over there. You know that, right?
What, dude? There's
Are
still
you trying to make
Rhode
money
Island-
over there? Is that what's
Have
going
you
on?
been to an actual beach spot?
I live 5
Rhode
minutes
Island
away from
has
a
the
5-minute
real.
walk away from a beach.
No, I'm talking about a real beach, not Long Island Sound. That's not a real beach, bro. Okay, so maybe check yourself
But it's
before you
the
wreck
oldest
yourself, my
beach I
friend.
know.
Whoa, did he just say
We're talking the Atlantic Ocean when you go to Rhode Island.
Nah,
That's what we're talking
too
about.
many sharks.
The actual whole-on ocean.
Too many
bro.
sharks. Sorry.
Speaking of ocean, did you see Putin's battleship got sunk? So Ukraine said we sunk your battleship.
I thought you were
That
gonna
was
say
pretty
something about like Billy Ocean.
So yeah, that's pretty funny to me. But anyway, all right, let's go. Shout out to Ukraine.
All right, and
White and white crime it is best.
and shout out to Pred who K Mega said he will be running late within a half hour. He said he will be in here. So if you really want him in here and you're impatient, you can always go to Twitter. You can always go to Twitter and you can tweet him at Predator H2O and you can say, dude, where the hell are you? Where the hell are you? You're supposed to be on the show right now. And of course, Dark Optimus won't be here because some of the topics
he's a loser.
He don't want to talk that. He don't want to talk that shit. Is pretty much what's going on. But anyway, guys, let's get into it. Let's start with a topic that I think is near and dear to my brother K Mega's heart. Now, before K Mega got introduced to Elden Ring and became tarnished, one of the games that he absolutely no-liked was Witcher 3. And man, him coming in and talking about the game before the shows and stuff like that, it got pretty tiring. But yeah, he was in that. He would not play anything else. He was just constantly into Witcher 3. Now, Witcher 3 was slated to get a next-gen upgrade. And, a lot of people were thinking this is the year, where it's going to drop. I think it even got listed on PEGI, which is a rating system, I believe, for Europe. And, so people thought that this upgrade, this next-gen enhancement was right around the corner. But I hate to tell you guys, unfortunately, this upgrade has been delayed for what they're calling indefinitely. And I got the article right here. I'll read some of the things for you, so this way you know. CD Projekt Red have finally updated fans on the status of the free upgrade. At the time, players were told that it was being delayed last year and set to launch in Q2 of 2022. Sadly, we have heard that the Witcher 3 upgrade won't be launching in the projected release window, and the upgrade has been indefinitely delayed. Now, with me saying this, I want to shout out Level 1 Gaming, who this is the article I'm reading. This is their website. Shout out to Fame Entertainment, going crazy, doing big things over there, and really putting out this information. Now, the reason for the delay, it seems that CD Projekt Red wants to finish the project themselves. Originally, Saber Interactive was working on the upgraded version. It also looks like the modders they have spoken with are not involved in the project. But basically what's going on here, they said that we have decided to have our in-house development team conduct the remaining work on the next-gen version of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, we are currently evaluating the scope of work to be done and thus to postpone the Q2 release until further notice. Now, I'm gonna let you guys hear what I think this means. To me, it seems like Interactive was working on this, and it got to a point where CD Projekt Red was checking out their work, the work that they had done, and realized that somehow, some way, it was below the expectation of what they had for this upgrade, and CD Projekt Red felt like they can do a better job doing it themselves. Now, when you see that they have to go in and kind of like measure out the scope of work, basically, they're trying to see where they don't have to start from the beginning, is what I'm catching from that article right there. Basically, they're going back into Saber Interactive's work, and they're looking to see, okay, we'll keep that in there, but we got to change this, we got to change that. And they're trying to measure out the scope of work. But to me, it seems like Saber Interactive just didn't live up to the expectations of what CD Projekt Red had for this upgrade, this next gen, it's actually this gen upgrade now, but for this enhancement. So I'm gonna go to K Mega since he has logged so many hours in Witcher 3. Now, K Mega, first off, I gotta ask if you're bummed about this, if you were looking forward to getting your hands on the enhanced version of Witcher 3 and to spend all that time again in the game. And what do you think about like my reasoning for the delay? Does that sound a little far-fetched? Do you think it might be a little more simple, a little more complicated as to the reason why? Do you think I'm reading into it like too far? What's the deal?
Well, no, I think that you're on to something. I am disappointed. It was funny because I was talking to Don about it. Don was like, "Oh, I don't think that's going to be coming out." I'm like, "Oh, it's coming. They said it was coming out," and so he knew something before I did. He didn't want to let me down. So it is what it is. So I had to.
Mic check.
Oof.
Oh, there he is.
Oof. All right. So
Daddy's home.
No, not here.
The band's all here, people. The band's all here. Predator H2O.
No. That daddy better go somewhere else if that's
Give it to me.
Oh man, you know what? I'm getting the hell out of here. All right, everybody have a good night. It was cool. See y'all at GRG tomorrow.
Nah, bro.
But no, it's
Hey, don't be dissing daddy like that.
Anyway, so but yeah, no, there's something else involved. I think that you are on to something. I really do. I think it's a little bit more complicated because that studio is a part of Ember's group, right? Like, so that's not the biggest issue, but it's also stationed all over the world and including Russia. And I don't know if that's one of those things where they're looking at it from a political stance of like, look, if anybody that's doing any work, because they do have a headquarters in Russia, in Petersburg.
You're talking Saber?
Yeah, Saber.
Does that really mean anything?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, it could be deeper.
It depends if they're regulated.
Right. So, like, I mean, it's Ember's. They are under Ember's group, right? But Ember's group, I don't know who actually owns Ember's group, but Ember's group is, if people have been paying attention to all the acquisitions, they have tons of acquisitions and they're going to get more. But I don't know if there's like some kind of connection with that because they are stationed in Russia and maybe they haven't pulled out because they're also in the United States, they're in France, they have a whole bunch of places. But if that has something to do with it, which I was just watching the news last night and they were saying that for companies who haven't pulled out from Russia, they've kind of like posted their items and and then raised their prices. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but obviously hearing the news about them going with the new Witcher that's going to be coming out, going with Unreal Engine 5. Maybe that they could be just as simple as that they just want to use that engine and then just bring The Witcher 3 or maybe bring a Witcher collection 1, 2, and 3, and then just kind of doing under the Unreal Engine 5 and bring it out to the
Dude, to do that, they weren't dealing with Unreal for Witcher 3 and previous Witchers, right?
one, no, they weren't. No.
Then, dude, do you know, like, they would have to basically rebuild the entire game on a new engine.
I don't think anybody would complain about that.
No, I'm
Would
saying
you?
that would take a long ass
Remaster.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, remaster. I you know what I'm saying? If you can do a trilogy, bringing Witcher 1, which not a lot of people except only on PC because it's a PC only game, and then you have Witcher 2 that came out only on 360, and then you got, of course, Witcher 3, which is, you've seen that they sold 40 million copies,
and all the DLC.
Yeah, and all the DLC in one package. You mean to tell me that people wouldn't buy that? And you did that under Unreal Engine 5, since they're now just kind of they've all fallen in love with Unreal Engine 5, and then also the resources and everything.
Motherfuckers buying fucking Grand Theft Auto again. They're gonna buy.
Thank you. So so maybe it's one of those things where it's they looked at this as an opportunity for them to just kind of cut bait and then just do this. Or it could be just a whole bunch of other things, like I was saying, like they don't want to work with certain people because of the reason why I mentioned before, or they're under time restraints. They're nervous. Sweden and Finland, they out there within their Ukraine stuff, and they're thinking about joining NATO and all this other kind of crazy stuff, and then they've been threatened with nuclear war. It's all types of crazy shit going on right now. So they probably got too many things on the mind, and the only thing they can think about is just probably the one game that they're working on right now, which is they're probably doing the DLC for Cyberpunk and doing.
that comes out next year. The expansion comes out in 2023.
Yeah, for that, and then also for The Witcher 4. So, but no, I don't think anybody that's listening or anybody on the panel would look at that and say, "No, man, I don't want a remaster to all three Witcher games." Especially, you could go back and start and try to get the beginning of how where Geralt was and Geralt and the White Wolf, whatever you want to call him, and
Superman.
Get in and get stuff for two.
You call him Superman.
Actually,
Superman. Yeah, well, he's not going to be Superman, I don't think, any longer, which is unfortunate. But no, that's my whole thing of it. It's got to be one of those things. It could be just as simple as that, or it could be just as complex as what you were talking about. So either way, I mean, I'm upset about it a little bit because I was really, really looking forward to it. I was going to just lock in, hone in, start all over.
Damn.
Just go, just go in, like just go crazy. So, but the new enhancements that they have. I think before we were starting the show, I seen I think it was Tryhard that was saying, look, it really doesn't need it. I've seen people say that you can play it at 60 frames per second. It still looks great. I don't think I've seen it. I've seen it on the S, but I have not seen The Witcher 3 on the X yet. So I need to go and boot it up and just re-download it and boot it up and see what it looks like.
I would love to see what it looks like, but I am not downloading that game on my Series X, man.
It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. It's
absolutely beautiful game.
It's gaming art at its best, man. You know what I'm saying? And then that music, you riding on Roach and you just getting and that
Bro, I started
oh my God, it's so epic. Boy,
I started playing Hellblade again, and like, dude, it looked really good on the Series S. Like, my jaw dropped with the Series X though, man. Like, the ray trace reflections and the whole light.
Didn't we have this conversation? We're not going to sit here and listen to you talk about.
Oh yeah, no, we are. We are. No, we are. We're definitely
because you're late to the fucking party.
Late to the party.
Hey man, I can't. Bills come first, bro. Bills come first. But
yeah, no bills.
Yo, guys, as you can hear, our brother Predator has joined us. Yo, Predator, what's going on, bro? How you feeling?
Yeah, have we started the show already?
Yes.
Did I miss that part?
Yeah.
I'm good, man. I thought we were still doing pregame behind the scenes. I didn't know we had started.
You
almost started right
you
before I
are
jumped in.
subscribed to my channel with the bell clicked on and everything, so you know when we go live.
Fuck
right?
no.
Yeah.
Man, I just got home, bro. I didn't even log into the computer yet. I'm still trying to get on YouTube right now. I thought y'all were just like shooting the shit like we usually do. But if we start the show, what up, everybody? Who am I blocking today first? Who's gonna get the band
blocking
first?
today first? worst. Oh my goodness.
Who's gonna be that guy? Who is it
Oh.
gonna
All right.
be?
Well,
Eeny, meeny, miny,
you search through the chat. Yo, I want to give a shout out to the chat. I had no idea there was so many Saber Interactive kind of like knowledgeable people in the chat. People letting me know, Abacab was like their main headquarters is in Fort Lauderdale, but then we see was it JCon? JCon was like, hey, but their
the
biggest
largest group is
team
in Russia. Yeah,
is based in St. Petersburg. Like I had no idea. You guys are teaching me stuff right now.
yeah.
Look at them.
Yeah.
Look at them people being smart and stuff.
But they're all owned by Embers Group. So I mean, and again, like I said, some people are taking it personally that if there's still business going on in Russia, and then all this stuff is going on in that region within Finland and Sweden and Ukraine, people are taking that personally. So I'm not saying that is actually what's going on, but I know from just me watching the news last night and paying attention to it, like if anything that any of these companies that still remains to work or deal or have anything associated with Russia at this time, they're not happy with it. So it could be that. I don't know. I didn't say that this was a fact. I'm just saying that could be a factor into it. But I think maybe overall it could be just as simple as that they feel that they could just do a better job on their end because of what you said, Bob. Because
they took a look at what was going on, and they're like, "Yo, hold on. Yeah. We can do a better job, and we wanted more of an enhancement, more of an upgrade here, and here. You know what? We're gonna take it over." Yo, shout out to A Lopez who is making a live show, bro. Good to see you, man. Haven't seen you in the chat in a while. It is definitely good to see you, my brother A-Lo. Yo, Crispy, what do you think about this, man? I don't know if you got into Witcher at all. I know you are a more multiplayer centric gamer, but you do dip your toes, man. You're rocking out with Cyberpunk stuff like that. You definitely dip your toes in single player. What do you think about this delay? And do you think that are you leaning more towards what I'm saying here, where Saber just didn't seem like they were doing what CD Projekt Red wanted them to do, and it seems like CD's they're just being nice about it. No, we're gonna finish up the work, even though they're like, yeah, we have to go back through and see what they did and basically see what we're gonna keep and how much work we have left.
What are we talking about here, Bot?
We're talking about Witcher 3.
Okay, so you're talking about the press release, everything else. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, that came from an investor call. So it's true. But I mean, are we going to ignore that CD Projekt Red isn't grasping at straws at this point? They put out the new Witcher. They've delayed Cyberpunk, the next expansion. They're grasping at straws. They don't know what they're doing. Okay, which concerns me. All right, at the end of the day, like, I'm enjoying what I'm playing from Cyberpunk, but not to say at the end of it, I'm not going to be like, I want more or I don't want more. And it's just, I don't know. They're convoluted. They don't know what they're doing. That's the way I look at it. Witcher, I get it. I'm fine with them, redoing it. I played a smidge of it. But at the end of the day, there's no reason that they should be grasping at straws the way they are. If you really look at it. What are they getting?
I wouldn't say necessarily, like, I hear what you're saying, Crispy, but me personally, I wouldn't say they're grasping at straws. What I would see is possibly they have a lot on their table. If you're looking at, if they're developing the next Witcher, they're getting the expansion ready to be shipped out next year for Cyberpunk, and they're working on the enhancement for Witcher 3. I mean, that's a lot on their table, and that's, to me, that just points more to the possibility that Saber just wasn't cutting it with what they were doing, the work that they were doing on it, because at first they tried to have them do it.
What I'm saying is that CD Projekt Red is big enough that there's no reason that should be a crux to what they're doing.
Actually, I don't know.
Then they should have somebody else in there. They're big enough. I'm not saying they're the end all be all. Okay? What I'm saying is they're big enough and they have the funds. The problem is that it's almost like the board said X-nay on your stupid thought, even though they probably don't even develop games, half of them. You know what I mean? And then they have to agree with it. That's what I feel like's going on right now. It's like no, you're wrong. That's it. And it's becoming a corporate atmosphere over there, and I'm concerned with that.
Okay, I can see the whole like corporate atmosphere thing. I get what you're saying, and it's always good to get your opinion because you definitely on a lot of topics you take a different angle than what a lot of people on the panel are saying. So that's interesting right there. Yo, Pred, what do you think about all this, man? Did you check out? I checked out Level 1 Gaming, their article on this in terms of the Witcher 3, quote unquote next gen enhancement being delayed indefinitely. I'm pretty sure you could piece together if you haven't. Like you heard, Saber Interactive was working on it. CD Projekt Red came out and stated, "Hey, we'll take it from here," basically. And then within that statement, they're like, "Okay, we have to go back in and see how much work, the scope of the work we have to do to get done." So to me, it sounds like they're going back into what Saber was doing and seeing what they were actually keeping and seeing what might have been below the bar that they had kind of like leveled for what this enhancement should be and could be, and they're like, you know what, we're gonna do it in house from here on out.
I didn't get a chance to read the article because I've been at work, but just going based off of what you guys have been talking about, I mean, it sounds like CD Projekt Red is going to take over that project. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, they're taking it over, so it's delayed indefinitely now. It was supposed to come out Q2 of this year.
Yeah. I heard some of K Mega's comments when I thought we were just kind of talking offline, and what Crispy said, and like I said, I haven't really been in tune with what's going on, but I mean, like, would that game sell? Would a Witcher collection, would it sell? Like we were talking with K Mega a while ago. Fuck yes, it would. But like, I also kind of agree with Crispy too. Like they might be stretching themselves a little thin right now. I mean, like you look at the last couple of games from them, it didn't really hit the mark. Like I mean, CD Projekt Red made Cyberpunk, so like they're still working on that game. So I think maybe it's one of those situations where the resources have to be allocated to finish Cyberpunk the way they want it done and fix that game and make it right. And then maybe The Witcher kind of falls to the wayside. Not saying we won't ever get it. I just think it's one of those things that they'll put on the back burner for a while and maybe have someone working on some smaller stuff. But like, I don't expect to see that game anytime soon. Especially, I think one of you guys said they're going to put it on Unreal Engine 5. That's going to take some time.
Well, that K Mega thinks that maybe the delay, maybe they're going to put it on Unreal Engine 5. I don't necessarily think that because of how long that would take. I mean, they don't have anything like they would have to go back in and create all assets and everything for.
But
Unreal.
that's the whole beauty of an Unreal 5. It's that it's really user friendly. It's really quick. It's not as complicated as the previous.
Before.
Yeah.
So ask yourself this question: what else are they working on?
Witcher 4.
Yeah, which we won't see for a while. So like if they're going to do
Cyberpunk.
They're working on expansion for Cyberpunk, and they're working on Witcher, which I don't even think we'll see Witcher for another 3 years. So that's just me throwing something out in the fucking wind and hoping it sticks right there. So
we won't see it for another 3 years. It won't work properly for another 5 years.
It'd take another year to fix it. So like 3, maybe 4 years. So like you won't see that for a while. So like outside of those 2 games, what other projects do they have? I mean, like, and that, I think that's where Crispy's coming from too, with his concern. Like, you got to fill in that gap with something, and that would be the remake or the remaster of the Witcher series. Just kind of get something out there and get some like you've already got the assets built into it, so just like use Unreal Engine 5, and you could put something out within the next year or two, and there's your remaster, and that will hold everybody over for a couple of years, and then drop Cyberpunk DLC, and then boom, Witcher 4. So, I mean, Witcher 3 came out what?
Oh,
I mean, it took me
2015.
forever to beat it. Yeah, so like we're in 2015.
Yeah.
God damn. I was about to say 18, but like yeah, so like that's 7 years ago. And
and that
I
game
mean,
still looks incredible. That's
and it does look
insane.
incredible, but still, like I mean, like I think maybe they thought Cyberpunk was gonna hold people over for a while. You know
I
what I'm
think they
saying?
thought
Like,
Cyberpunk was going to take over, man. To be honest.
yeah, I think they thought they were gonna get five to 7 years out of Cyberpunk, and it didn't happen that way. And they kind of were just banking on kind of like a Grand Theft Auto type scenario where they can do Cyberpunk and then do DLC and do more DLC and that, and then they had the multiplayer didn't come out. Like, I think their initial plan was Cyberpunk was going to hold them over for like 7 years. You know, just keep people happy with some DLC, and then they can finish Witcher, and that didn't happen. Cyberpunk kind of flopped out. They're still working on it. You know, I mean, there's no DLC. I'm sorry, multiplayer, because that was supposed to come out in the game too. So like all that, when it didn't launch, it didn't come out the way it's supposed to come out. The game came out broken. You know, that kind of they had to use those assets that they were going to use on Witcher or whatever else they're planning on making on Cyberpunk to fix it, and they still haven't fixed it. So I understand why there's a delay and why they're trying to come out with something to fill that gap now. Because now you're looking at maybe again, if they finish Cyberpunk in the next 2 years, maybe that Witcher remake will come out after that, and then Witcher 4 will come out after that. But the thing is, they're not working on anything else right now. If that's the only things they're working on, they got to fill that gap in with something, and that's where this fucking DLC coming out, this remaster comes in. That's what a lot of these companies do. Let's just use these assets, hit this fuck it button, and magically make things look better, and then maybe use 6 months to a year to make those assets look better. I'm joking about the year part, but like it's going to take a while. But use those assets for the game they've already created to do a deal, to do a remaster, and resell it for a cash grab. To get money revenue coming in. So I don't know what else they're working on. What other projects they have behind the books that we don't know about that could drop in the next 5 years, other than those two games.
I don't think there's much.
They're not
else.
built that way. Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
built that way. So like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, they're not built that way, no.
I mean, they made 3 Witchers, and I don't think there was anything in between those from them.
Yeah,
Correct me if
no.
I'm wrong, but like,
Mm-mm.
all right. So, guys, I want to get into a juicier topic, and unfortunately, this wasn't necessarily on the topics list, but you know the way social media is, man. Like, somebody comes out and says something, whether it's a developer, whether it's somebody in the gaming media, and of course, we have people coming in and chiming with their own opinions and stuff. Now, this is interesting. This is a franchise I really like since the OG Xbox, and that is Oddworld, right? So, was it Lorne Lanning came out, and he is the creator of Oddworld Soulstorm, which is this generation's version, of Oddworld. And he came out and he claimed that PS Plus was devastating for Oddworld Soulstorm sales. Now, I'll get into some of this article real quick. He says, according to the Oddworld creator Lorne Lanning, publishing Oddworld Soulstorm on PlayStation Plus was a mistake in terms of title sales. The Oddworld Inhabitants co-founder explained on the Xbox Expansion Pass podcast, shout out to those guys, that in his calculations, the forecast was much more optimistic since appearing on these services boosts your product's name by being visible in a showcase with millions of members behind it. However, a miscalculation can ruin those forecasts, according to the creative. Launching the game on PlayStation Plus was devastating. Now, I just want to put something out there. This is not the PlayStation Plus that we're seeing the version 2. Okay, this is the original where basically if you have PlayStation Plus to play multiplayer games, they have games that they come out per month. I believe 3 games per month, sometimes a VR games thrown in there or whatnot, that you get for having PlayStation Plus. So putting it there was a mistake. He says Lanning explains he wasn't totally sold on releasing Oddworld Soulstorm as part of PlayStation Plus in the January 2021 rotation. They finally agreed because at the time they saw it as a pretty good deal. Thanks to that upfront money, they were able to finish development. That's where the calculations came in. They expected the game to sell between 50,000 and 100,000 units at launch, a modest amount because at the time PS5 was barely established in the market. Let's see. Our world inhabitants will receive a certain amount of upfront capital, which would translate into an equivalent for those same sales. Big mistake in this case, given that Oddworld Soulstorm was claimed by nearly 4 million players. So, by their calculation, they got paid for about 50,000 to 100,000 units, and 4 million players downloaded Oddworld Soulstorm. Now, first off, I gotta say, shout out to those guys because when it comes to this franchise, I don't think a lot of people could gauge the popularity of Oddworld. Oddworld has been around for quite a while, but it never really kind of like took off in any direction. I think the biggest it got was like Munch's Odyssey before Soulstorm, and that was on the original Xbox. I know I had it. I absolutely love that game. But so according to their calculations, they got paid for like 50,000 to 100,000 copies, as if they, as if Sony bought 50 to 100,000, and 4 million players downloaded the game. Now, first off, I was going to say what I would say. What would you expect if you look at how many people have PlayStation Plus, and with the limited number of games per month and the limited time to download those games? You only have that month to download those games or whatnot. Of course, I would say a lot of people are going to download those. You look at Xbox Live Gold and the games with gold offerings. People download those things and don't even play them. They're just like, oh, well, there's free games basically because I'm always going to have Xbox Live Gold, so I'm gonna download those and maybe I'll be interested at some point in time to have them, but at least I have them in my library. But of course, out there in social media, people are comparing this to Game Pass. People are saying, well, look at that. Look how they're devastated. They got devastated by this. What does that mean for the developers when it comes to Game Pass, which is a completely different service? I don't know. Let's go to Crispy on this one. Crispy, what do you think about the creator coming out? Basically, it's nice to see him being honest about it because maybe there are points in time where you don't want to burn bridges, and we know Sony can be very finicky as well. I know that they've kind of blacklisted people who review games if they didn't review PlayStation exclusives well enough, things like that. So they're finicky. But he came out and basically said that was a huge mistake for us. Do you think that was a mistake for him? And what do you think about people comparing this situation to Game Pass, which is a completely different service? I can't believe. Actually, I can believe, but they're doing it out there, bro. They are doing that.
So he's complaining about sales, correct?
Yes.
So here's the thing. Here's the true difference between Game Pass and what they offer. We are automatically like believe that, even some games that are kind of low budget and you don't really look at like immediately are actually can be better than what you think that you're going to play. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, we don't have to worry about dropping money on other things. Like I got to spend $70 to play God of War Ragnarok in the future. You know what I mean? That's the way all of these people are thinking, and we don't have to worry about that, do we? Bot? I mean, Mega Pred. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. I mean,
No.
we don't have to worry about that. So then we end up you could play Oddworld in Game Pass and you could really like it. And because you have this extra money, because you don't have to buy your Halos, your Gears, your Forzas, freaking whatever you want, Hellblade 2, Avowed. Like, we can go down the list. You're not going to have to purchase that outright. So you go and look at that game and be like, well, I'll throw you some money. I want to keep playing this. Some people think, hey, if I'm not subscribed to Game Pass, I don't have the game anymore. So why not buy it? Okay. Like, it's one of those things we're already accustomed to what we get. And on the PlayStation side, they're like, oh, free game, bam. And that's it. That's all you get. And that's why they're sitting there like, this should have been better than we thought, because PlayStation has a higher user base, everything. Why did this not, become profitable? What's going on here? Now, I will say, I don't believe that PlayStation does what Xbox does and pay these people like even more than just development costs outright. You know what I'm saying?
He said the
And
deal was anywhere between 50,000 to 100,000 units. It's the equivalent to Sony buying 50,000 of the game, between 50 and 100,000 of the game. That was the deal.
So they didn't even hit that then, if he's complaining about it?
No, 4 million people downloaded the game. In other words, when it came to sales, he feels like they got gypped out of money.
They got cheated, yeah.
But you're saying that they got paid this amount and they had 4 million people download it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, those people that downloaded it because it's on this service didn't purchase anything.
Yeah, because they were see, and Crispy, right there, I think you hit the nail on the head when it comes to this, and then people comparing it to Game Pass, because with PlayStation Plus, when they had the game in PlayStation Plus, it was just a free download for people to play who are subscribed to PlayStation Plus. When it comes to Game Pass, you can download the game, and if you really like the game, you could go ahead and buy it. All right, so when it comes to PlayStation, it was just here, have the game. We paid so much, for so many units or whatever, but here, you could just buy, you could just download the game, and there's no option to purchase, to help out the developers in added fashion, like there is with Game Pass. That's a big difference.
That's why I mean underlying. That's why PlayStation's going to games as a service, because you can constantly make money off of these games. And I actually feel bad for people that are only on PlayStation, because you're about to, hand them your piggy bank, bro. That's what's going to happen. If you continue to allow some of the things they're doing and you continue to defend it, you're going to be handing them thousands. I'm telling you, watch, because they're going to double dip on your ass. That's what they're going to do. And you know what? I'm not saying that Xbox hasn't done that. They have. But nowadays, they're pro-consumer, okay? And I'm not saying to you that you can not say that, they're just being political and this and that. Like, I'm fine with that. You know what? You go ahead and say that. But what I see is a pro-consumer type company, okay? And you can think whatever you want about PlayStation, but as far as a gamer myself, I don't see that. And they've been stumbling on their own fucking feet for a while, and I'm sick and tired of it. Okay, I played PlayStation for 10 plus years, dude. Like, this is not what they should be right now. It's actually pathetic, and I wanted to change, and you need to change with the times. Unfortunately, that's the way the world works. Sometimes you got to just say, you know what, we gotta eat our own shorts and go for it. Let's do it.
That is a horrible, horrible picture, Crispy. But I want to say shout out to Axel. What is up, brother? Good to see you in the chat. And our brother Soren X hitting up that super chat. That is right, people. The super chat does indeed work. Try it. It helps out the channel. It helps out this show it helps it out tremendously. So he says, "Happy Easter holiday, y'all." He said, "God bless." Thank you, bro. God bless to you as well. Thank you so much for that. Let's see here. So let's go to Predator on this one. Yo, Pred, you hear what the creator said. Uh, he feels he got gypped. Now I feel like I mean, it definitely got his game out there, and I don't know what he was expecting. If he thought 50,000 to 100,000, especially with what I know from people with Xbox Live Gold, there's just people constantly downloading those games, even if they don't want them, just because there is an offering. But what do you think about where this creator is coming from with his game, and what do you think about the reaction out there on social media? And people are comparing this situation to Game Pass and say like how Game Pass isn't good for the developers.
Well, there's a lot of intangibles here involved in this too. Like you were saying, like people download games, don't play them. Like, show me, like, I want to see how many people actually download the game and actually played it. Because I did that when we actually used to have good games with gold, and we used to get for free. I would download a lot of shit and never play it because I wanted them in my library. Because I knew if I didn't download them then, I would never see them again, or I don't want to pay for them. So I get them for free because they came with my subscription. And so I have a lot of games in my library that I'll never play. I just download them because they were free. And that, looking at those numbers, like, what was the attach rate to those people who download the game? That's my biggest question right there. Like, how many people actually played that game that downloaded it because it was free? Or was it just one of those situations where they downloaded it just because it was free? So he's counting money he probably could have gotten some off of, but like, I don't think the numbers that, because like, I mean, I never played. This was the most recent one, right?
Yeah,
the one that came out near the launch. So like,
I'm thinking about buying it on Xbox actually.
I mean, it's almost like they're blaming Sony for the game not being successful, and they like, oh, we could have got all this money from it, and we made a bad deal.
I don't think
Basically,
4 million people would have bought it though. Like,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. They wouldn't have bought those people that download that game were never going to buy that game. They downloaded it because it was free.
yes,
Basically, and that's it. And that's, I mean, like, who's played that game in here?
I've played them before.
You
The
played
most
played
recent one.
Yeah, no, nothing. No, I said I played them before.
Yeah, I played some of the Oddworlds earlier before.
But that
like,
Oddworld isn't out, is it yet? Is it out already? Because I thought it was coming out here pretty soon.
Soulstorm, Soulstorm is out. There's actually an enhanced edition on Xbox right now for $39.99.
And there you go. Like, when do you know the game's out? Like, that's not our fault that the game wasn't advertised properly.
The last time I seen it, it was last month when I seen it, and I was like, oh, okay, it's not even out yet. So, all right.
Yeah, I mean,
but it came out on PlayStation like early.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah.
So like, and like, it's not, again, and you also have to think, me thinking outside the box here. Like, I mean, what was out around that time of the year that game came out? Who was getting that on PlayStation 5? Who had a PlayStation 5 that actually get one? Play. I mean, like, there's a bunch of intangibles. So like, I just don't think, like, there's probably more involved in why this game didn't do well than just, I could have made this money off of it, but I put it on this service. That's bullshit. Like, yeah, a lot of people downloaded it, but like, who the fuck is playing it? That's the biggest question you gotta ask yourself. Like, who actually played the game and beat it? So, or even got 30% through the game. Like, that's what you're looking at. The user engagement. So anybody can download a game for free now, whether they're playing it or not. I mean, if I look on right now and I log on my Series X and I see there's a free game, and it's free, I'm downloading it just because it's there. So there's your problem right there. He's counting those chickens that will never going to hatch in the first place, because not many people are going to play that game.
He's counting his neighbor's chickens as his own. Right there. Like,
he's counting that. He's counting that revenue, and not including the fact that the game was free to download. And so, like, you were gonna get a portion of that money, maybe out of the thousands of people that download that game, a small fraction were actually going to buy it. So that's on him. He's had a bad deal. He should have said, "Fuck it, I'm not putting it on this service," and it said no. And that's and like, you're comparing Game Pass to this. Game Pass, actually, for developers anyway, they give them options. You know what I'm saying? Like they can take the money up front, they can take a cut out of this, they can take a cut out of that. They can there's other options available for them. I don't think this guy had an option with that kind of stuff. I think he just took the money up front and then hoped that the game sold. And like, why buy the game if it's free?
Yeah, right.
And it wasn't. Yeah, and like again, it isn't like I know this franchise has been out for a while, but like it isn't like Call of Duty. It ain't like Halo, where it's got a huge following. People who are like, we're gonna buy this game regardless. Like Forza.
Yeah,
Like
no,
it don't
it's got
matter
a
if
cult,
it's free.
There's a cult following at best when it comes
Yeah,
to
and those cult following people bought it, and then everybody else was like, "Fuck it, it's free. I ain't buying this shit." So like, and the people talk about this. Is funny. It's funny that this is how this worked out because the same people will be like, "Oh, Game Pass is killing the gaming industry," but yet it's been shown over and over and over again that Game Pass, at least on the Xbox side, our service, people still buy those games. Obviously, they're not buying them on PlayStation.
Yeah, dude, I hear you on that one, and the fact that when it comes to Game Pass, they promote buying the game and buying it at a discount as well, which also gets people to think about it. Just in case at some point in time they decide they don't want the subscription service anymore, they'll have at least the games that they enjoyed, and they'll have them at a discount as well. I think that is the main difference here, and people. I think there's another topic that deals with this. People try to find any single way they can to try to talk bad about anything that's coming out positive from Xbox. It could be absolutely anything positive, and there is like a negative swing to that. But let's get K Mega's voice in here on this. Now, K Mega, you said you've played Oddworlds before. What do you think about how this creator is thinking business wise? I think Pred kind of agreed with me. I agree with him that if it wasn't on PS Plus, I don't think they would have gotten 4 million people to buy that game at launch.
No, but it would have still sold. I don't think it would have sold more than 150 to 100,000.
You think so?
Yeah, no, I think it would have been anywhere from 200 to maybe 700,000. Because it's a long franchise. It's a cult classic. We going all the way back to the PlayStation 1 with maybe even further than that. I mean that's when I first played Abe's World was or Odyssey or whatever. He's got so many of those games. So but that was on the PlayStation 1. So and I've played maybe about 6 or 7 of them overall through its life cycle, because I know that there's more games than that out there in the wild, but I played about maybe I would say 5 to 6, not to say 6 or 7, but about 5 to 6. I've only beaten 2 of them, so it's not like, just to kind of show you that like I like it, but I'm not overly invested into it. The first time I played it, I rented it at a Blockbuster. And then I thought the graphics was insane back then.
Yeah.
And so I eventually, and kind of like how you look at the Game Pass situation, you can buy those games at Blockbuster once they come out. So it eventually it went on sale, and it was pre-owned because it was a rental. And so I copped it for, I think it was around $25 or something like that. So yeah, no, to me, it's more of those things where it's like they may have this thought process, like Sony finessed them to thinking that, well, this is only where this game is going to be projected because of PlayStation 5 sales and things like that, and we're going to promote it because it's going to be pushed off the power of the PlayStation 5. But this is a PlayStation 4 game too. So this is what I'm not understanding. Like, this game was launching on both consoles. So on the 4 and the 5. So even if somebody came to me and said, "Look, man, we'll pay you for 50,000 to 100,000 units right now," and I'm like, "Hold on, wait a minute. You got how many PlayStation 4s out there, and my game is going to be on that?" Nah, bro. Sometimes you have to bet on yourself. Now, I don't know if the money was funny because of a pandemic. and maybe they were strapped. They put all the resources they possibly could, and then when they just they seen the check, and they was like, hell with it, I'm cool. But it's like kind of like what Fred was saying, that there seems like there's more to this story than just saying, well, they gave me a number and then that was it. If it was that, then you didn't bet on yourself. And especially, I understand that the game is not what it used to be popularity wise, but it's still a cult classic. And that game was still going to sell a lot more than just 50 to 100,000 units. So what you just did is let Sony just go ahead and just get away with murder, pretty much. That ain't Sony's fault. They just smooth talk you. You know what I'm saying? That was it. You got finessed. So you just gotta be better at business, because it's easily to say, Sony is the bad guy on this, but I mean, in all actuality, if somebody goes to the store, and just think about this for a second. You go to the store, you got a couple of items, you get it, and then somebody they give you the wrong amount. Now, you can do the decent thing and say, well, you know what? Because I did this, matter of fact, not too long ago. This is why I'm bringing it up. I sit there and I went and got something, and the person didn't know that I didn't pay for it, so they just gave it to me, and they were just expecting me to walk out. And I was like, man, I didn't pay for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of like, I've been blessed with some things. I don't want to go ahead and get a bad aura because I'm walking out of here with some bullshit just to say I got it for free. So I just did. So I let it go. But if this person comes in here and say, well, these item was $46 and some change, but then they ring up the wrong item and it's $14 and change. Now I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to go ahead and pay that $14 because at least I gave you something. I ain't going to sit. Yeah, I gave you something. You know what I'm saying? So it's not Sony's fault whatsoever.
One hell of a sale going on.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, okay, I came up on that. So I'm going to look at that as a blessing instead of me trying to finesse somebody. So, but on this end, Sony just finessed them. They just kind of made them seem like your game ain't worth this much. Even though you put all your blood, sweat, tears behind this, and this is all you're going to get. And they just took it that way, and they should have known better, because if you have 20 some plus PlayStation 4s out there, and you got what, I don't know, 1 to 3 million PlayStations out there, PlayStation 5s out there, then obviously you could do better math than that. But yeah, I would be pissed too. I see 4 million downloads, and I'm only got paid for, what would you say, 50,000 to 100,000?
50 to 100,000 units. They're not specific on that, but they're like between 50 to 100,000.
And it's not even a full $70, and they're like, oh Lord, that's like, oh man. So yeah, no, that hurts.
That hurts.
Yeah, they obviously must not known how the system worked, or
Mega, I think they should hire
money.
Next Podcast to do their business deals for them. So this
man, because if some that I can't help you with, I know Fred can't help you. Fred can help you with it, or Bob can help you with it, and Crispy can give you some kind of crazy ass story, but he'll help you too. So
but he'll help you too.
But he'll help you too. But it is what it is, man. No, I just think it was just a good finesse move. Can't be mad at Sony about it. They just they got him. The whole situation with the Game Pass shit though. Look, man, sometimes bad press is good press, because that just kind of like with the whole situation with the acquisition of Activision.
Yeah.
They can't stop talking about it because it bothers them.
Oh my goodness.
They can't stop talking about it. They can't stop talking about Game Pass because it bothers them. And absolutely right. It's free publicity for Game Pass. Let them talk about it, because there's going to be somebody that's reasonable to say, why do people talk about this Game Pass so much? Why do they hate it so much? You know what I'm saying? Maybe I need to look at it so I can hate it too. And then they're looking at it like, oh shit, wait a minute. What? And then so so it's, bad publicity sometimes is good publicity. I mean, how many times have we seen people that just come and say the wildest shit, and then next thing you know, their channel or their blog or whatever just blows up because because they got a lot of people that may be negative, but then there's other people that may believe that stance, or just likes the entertainment of just seeing people going through chaos. So it is what it is, man. But no, man, Game Pass is by far, again, the more superior service. It will continue to be until someone out there that actually is willing to put their neck out like Microsoft did and show that they're in it to win it. But if every company just want to dip their toe into it, Microsoft is still going to be in control of the service market, because it seems like somebody was trying to tell me today, basically was like, oh well, Game Pass, it had a good run, but it's about had a good run. It's about to go crazy. It's not even met its full potential yet.
It's actually jogging right now.
It's just coasting right now. It's not even at its full potential. I don't see it getting to its full potential until probably in another 2 years. So and then and at that point we don't know how long its full potential will last. So that to me is like, well, it's still new to a lot of people, but by the time that we get to the middle end of this generation, so many people will be invested into Game Pass or some service that's like that, because Sony's going to change up in some way, shape, or form. They're not going to just stay status quo like they're doing, even with what they're doing with Spartacus right now. So yeah, no, Game Pass is doing good. I feel bad for the people who made Abe's Odyssey or Oddworld, whatever, but it's you should have did the math. The math won't ever treat you wrong or do you wrong. So
man,
just got hustle.
Yeah, I do feel bad for them, but I can't feel 100% bad for them, because they were presented with this and they took it. I know they said the money to help finish development or whatnot, but I have a feeling they could have got that somewhere. Whether it was,
hey man, not all money's good money.
No. So ain't, especially when you get cheated like that. You see 4 million thing, man. You could, man. I just don't get it. Like, this game was sold on PlayStation 4. Like, I mean, and see from what you read was like they kept talking about the PlayStation 5. So right there, that's the rub. It's like they weren't thinking maybe that like their game wasn't going to be ported over to the PlayStation 4, or I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, there's more to it. Fred said it right. There's more to this, because you can't be. Maybe you are, but I think maybe it was just because of the pandemic. They used a lot of resources, and the money was low, and they were just like, shit. This because I mean, just think about 50,000 to 100,000. Let's just say 100,000 times however much the game is going to be sold, $40, $50. That's a nice check. So, can't be mad about it. But yeah, no, but I won't bet on myself, Jack. I'll be like, nah, bro. Nah, you got 20 million consoles out there, bro. You're gonna have to raise them stakes up. Give me a good 1.5 mil. You know what I'm saying? And if not, then I say that magic word to Sony. Game Pass.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, they couldn't do it because they had.
I was just about to say that.
They couldn't do it anyway, because when it comes down to it, they had the deal that they were coming out first on PlayStation. But
I know that, but I'm saying, but that negotiation should have been tied into it before. I mean, because all these negotiations already had to be talked about beforehand, like how many units, things like that. And Game Pass has still been, and at this point, even if, because let's say it took them 3 years to make the game. 3 years to make the game. Game Pass was already starting to make some noise 3 years ago.
Oh, you know what though? If you go back to them documents a while back, they might not have been able to put it on Game Pass.
Well, no, they couldn't have, but because they already signed up with him.
Well, no, because like those contracts Sony have been putting out was like, this game can't go to Game Pass. Remember that shit?
Yeah, no, I know that, but I'm saying like beforehand though, before they signed the document saying that they can't put it on Game Pass, they should have sit there and looked at what our numbers were. Yeah. Let's look at our numbers over here on Xbox. Okay, so PlayStation 4 has 3 times as many consoles over here. over here, but Xbox have 60 to 80 million consoles over here, but they also have this Game Pass. Yeah, I mean, you had your bet, but you also got to look at everything else that would this game cater this way, that way. Look, that number is just small. I don't know if people in the chat can agree too. Like, I mean, people on the panel, let me know. This 100,000, 50,000 to 100,000 just seems like a really low number for a game that's a cult classic. I think it's a
It
really
sounds
low
low to me,
number.
man. It
Sounds really low.
does. I wouldn't have said yeah to that at all. So
Hell no.
he's walking away.
He had to
Hell
walk away
no.
from that shit. He's like, hell no.
Yeah.
Shit,
Yo,
no.
Fred, what do you
Come
think
on.
about this, bro? Like,
Didn't you already come to me first?
did I go to you first?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you
shit.
went to me
My bad.
first.
My bad.
Wah,
I got
wah,
vacation brain
wah.
right now, man. It's vacation brain. But,
Actually, I think you went to Crispy first, than me.
yeah. I think that was actually the route I went. But guys,
You're used to having a fourth member here. That's what it is.
let's talk about something a little bit different. Over on PlayStation's website, they have a banner that has I believe like all first party game like characters. But I think one had one of these like slices. I believe it had Concrete Genie at one point in time, but it was changed, and it was changed to Death Stranding. And now there's a whole bunch of speculation. There's a bunch of heat on social media talking about Kojima's development studio and the possibility that they have been acquired by Sony as a PlayStation first party studio. And yes, I'm going to say as a PlayStation first party studio. For people out there who don't know, the acquisition of Bungie did not put Bungie under a PlayStation first party studio. I have been dealing with this on Twitter for I don't know how long. Bungie is not a first party studio under PlayStation. They actually are under the Sony Interactive Entertainment division. They are a division right next to PlayStation. They're not a PlayStation first party studio. They are a division of Sony. All right, I'm just throwing that out there again for the people I deal with on Twitter. But so people are out there speculating. Now we have heard rumors and rumors of rumors that Kojima is actually working on an Xbox game right now. He just recently moved to a different studio. We don't know exactly where that is, but he upped and left the old offices for his old studio, and he went somewhere else. And so now there's a lot of speculation that Kojima's development team, his studio, might have been acquired from Sony as a PlayStation first party. And with that, as we're talking about this, I'm gonna ask the question: do we even care? Because when it comes down to it, Kojima, his process on making a game can take absolutely forever. All right, and from what I've heard, kind of like behind the scenes, this dude is a major pain in the ass when it comes to getting information and kind of like the status of the game while it's in development. I heard quite a few things about Kojima and trying to keep him on track and to actually get his games out, to the public to be bought. But let's go with Pred on this one. Yo, Predator. So Death Stranding is now in the banner for what seems to be on PlayStation's website for what seems to be, first party games. Do you think Kojima and his studio has been acquired by Sony for PlayStation? Um, and do you even care? Like, would that be a good fit, or because people are like, hey, he's supposed to be making an Xbox game. Would you care either way about Kojima and what he's doing right now?
Not really. I mean, to be honest with you, I've not played a Kojima game since old school Metal Gear, way back in the day, like on the NES. Like so, like I'm just not interested in his work. I mean, like I didn't play Death Stranding, so I can't really talk mad shit about it. But just from what I heard about the game, it's kind of like there's people who like it, people who can't stand it, and people think it was stupid, and some people who loved it. Like it's all over the place. I don't like him as a person. Just from like what I've heard and seen and actions, it's like just seeing him every fucking year getting his ass kissed by Jeff Keighley is enough for me to not like the guy.
It's enough to turn it down. Turn
Like
it down right there.
he hasn't done anything to me personally, you know what I'm saying? But like I just don't like him. I don't know what it is about him. I just don't like, and even his games are weird to me. Like he's so self-absorbed. You know what I'm saying? So like just make a game and hide behind the scenes. But no, every time I tried to watch Death Stranding, someone play it, it was a Kojima game. Kojima works. Kojima this. Kojima. It's like all his name was splattered every fucking where. Like, dude, just make the game. Shut the fuck up, you know. But like, I think it was like that kind of shit. It was just overkill to me. Like he probably fucking Death Stranding could be fucking an amazing game. I'm sure someone will tell me otherwise, and some people will tell me it's great, and some people will tell me it sucks. But like him as a person, just like again, like this, he just rubs me the wrong fucking way. It's hard to explain, but like, fuck him. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck him. I don't know what else to tell you. Fuck him. You know, like I don't have I have no feelings for that guy whatsoever, and I don't even know the motherfucker. But like, this, I like even that comment like he made. And this is where it kind of took a turning point. He made that comment, and he was like talking about American gamers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I'm talking about?
When he sold the demo to Phantom Pain, and it was so this way Western gamers can learn how to play his game because we only play shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're the ones
I remember that.
Like shit like those little antics, little jabs like that. Like someone punch me in the dick when I see him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
shit.
I don't know the dude though, so I really can't. I mean, if he makes great games, fine, that's great. You know, and if he comes to the Xbox side of the yard, you know, I think for me, to be honest with you, if he came to the Xbox side of the yard, I would champion this shit just to make fucking Sony fanboys mad. It would be nothing else other than that. Just to be that dick. I'd be like, yeah, we got Kojima. Now what? What the fuck y'all talking about now? Just to give him another jab, you know? But like, I wouldn't give two shit about his game, to be honest with you. But I mean, I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't even play this shit. It had to be something I'd be seriously interested in. But I know it's gonna be super weird, super boring, super dragged out. He's gonna try and do some fucking artistic bullshit. It's gonna no, I don't fucking do that. Give me a gun, let me kill things. Like that's all I want to do. You know, like all this other shit he's trying to do.
You're talking like an American gamer.
He's talking like an American.
Well, you know what?
America.
That's where consoles are. So America, motherfucker. Well, I mean, I'm in the military, so I'm gonna back my country. But I mean, like, whatever. Fuck them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they pick them up, you know, what do they get out of it? A game every fucking 4 years, 8 years.
Yeah.
The Decima engine. I mean, okay. Congratulations. Big fucking deal.
And you get to deal with Kojima, and
you get the Kojima game, you get the DLC part of it, you get the director's cut of the same fucking game, and you get to see him in fucking Jeff Keighley's awards and shit every fucking year. You're gonna get that anyway. So what else? Like, you're not gaining anything. Let's put it that way. Just make your shit multi-plat. Just fucking move on, dude.
This is one. When it comes to the studio, when
Fuck
it comes to the head of the studio, Kojima, for the people out there, like trying to get Kojima on Xbox's side, this is something I want to tell you guys. When it comes to Xbox, first off, Kojima does not fit well with Xbox and what they're doing with Game Pass. Like,
crap! Come on now, back up now.
When it comes down to it, again, you have no idea when his game is coming out.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, come on now.
I don't think he fits like the direction that they're going, and
they're going for creativity. They're going for
everything.
Variety. They're going for, you know, okay, we're gonna put this on here just because we can.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I'll tell you, like, Xbox has done it multiple times already. Like, think about Stalker. Think about, you know, freaking a lot of games that are just like, even The Ascent, for example, that is totally different, totally out of its element, because that would be mostly a PC game, like right off rip. And it's like, let's just throw that in Game Pass and say fuck it. And you know what? It didn't score well. It had a lot of issues. Okay. But at the end of the day, there's people that still played it and still enjoyed it. So
What game you talking about, Chris?
The Ascent.
That game, what you
Oh,
mean?
you're right. Yeah. K-Mega likes
But
it.
no,
So.
it was meant for like, it really was built for PC, but they kind of just released it in Game Pass and said, like, dude, like when you can't, when the controls are the way they are, that's where you go and say, like, if it was a mouse and keyboard, I think it would have played differently and it would have actually been more
That game
enjoyable.
played fantastic on controller. I'm not following that, but okay, go ahead, continue.
All right, I'm not going to argue with you. You love that game
because I beat
more
it.
than me.
I beat it. You probably gave it a sample size, but I'm just saying.
Well, all right.
Well, some of the gameplay was on here, by the way.
He's not going to go and play a game all the way to beating it before he's like, you know what, I like that game.
I get it.
Got a certain amount of time before it's like,
I mean, but if it ain't for you, that's fine. See, this the problem and I keep saying this. If a game is not for you, it's not for you. But it doesn't. You don't have to sit there and lower rate it or try to give it a review or some crazy shit if you don't even give it a time of day, or if you don't even like that.
I'm not reviewing the game. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
you have to be able to beat the whole game. I mean, regardless, like I believe that should be, part of Metacritic. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I feel like there's no.
I agree.
Well, it is meta who, because they won't do stuff like that. You know what I mean? They don't show people's. If you are a major publication, there should be credentials there for people to say, hey, like this person like beat it. They spent 100 hours. They spent 10 hours. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And even if the game is short, if you spend more than that period of time and you didn't speed run it, well, guess what? You got to give that person more respect. They don't do anything like that. They just basically say, here you go. These are the major publications. That's it. And then when the user score and the actual review score don't match up, you go and say, well, what's going on here? Why is this? And that's when you ask questions, which is fine. But why does the user, the person that's not getting paid to review that said product, have to go and say, okay, I'm saying this is bad, and then you have thousands of them saying it's bad, and then you could take out a couple thousand that are just being fanboys about it, okay? But at the end of the day, like the user score generally reflects how the game performs. If you really look at it, it's quite hilarious. But if you really look at Metacritic itself, if you go to the user score, that's how the game performs, and it's crazy. And it's sad that people always go back to Kojima and say, Splinter Cell is not even close to Metal Gear Solid. Well, guess what? That's not true. Depends when you started playing these games. That's what it depends on. We're not talking about somebody's always starting. I mean, Metal Gear came out before Splinter Cell, okay? But Splinter Cell took what Metal Gear did and made it much quicker, and you're getting the action more. And this is what they went after. So what's the problem? Like, let's not talk about Kojima and say Silent Hill, say the PT demo. Like, everybody goes back to that shit. What has he done lately? He's done Death Stranding. Okay? So if you're an Xbox, like, and you're like, hooting and hollering for Kojima to come over here, I question that. I question why in God's name are you like sitting there like this is the greatest thing since sliced bread? Well, what have we seen? You either liked Death Stranding or you hated it. That's really, there's no medium. Yeah, I hated it.
Crispy,
okay?
I'm kind of with you on that one. I think a lot of people, of course, I think there are Kojima fans out there that genuinely, when it comes to this Xbox game that people are talking about, I think there are those people that are interested in it. But I think a lot of people, when it comes down to it, are championing for Kojima to have an Xbox game just to rub it in the faces of the other side.
And I think you are going to eat your own words if you go and do that, and trust me, I have receipts on Xbox gamers as well because I get to laugh at it.
Oh, damn.
I laugh at both sides.
Oh,
Okay,
damn.
because it's really ridiculous because you probably trashed Death Stranding, but you are touting for this man to be an Xbox only title, and that's whatever it may be. It could be a freaking turd. Okay, you are going to eat it up and you are going to throw it in people's faces, and then you're going to be like, oh, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, you have to remember that you probably said the exact opposite when Death Stranding came out. Me, I said, you know what? It's not for me. It wasn't for me. But even at the beginning, I don't feel it's for me. Okay. And I've played games that are like that. And it's just like, it looked great, but that's it. And gameplay and looking great are two different things to me. So that's the way I looked at it. I played it because I was sick of people saying, oh, you have to play it. You have to play it. And I go and look at them and be like, dude, like, you cannot take 10 hours for me to finally start liking the game, finally have some action. Like, you can't do that as a gaming company, but they got the pass. God, I mean, for Game of the Year, for fuck's sake. Like, come on. Give me a break.
From what I heard from people who have kind of like similar tastes than I do, from what I heard that played Death Stranding, I heard the best part about that game is the 2-hour movie at the end of it.
Oh, yeah, great. I want to watch movies. You know what? I'll go watch the Halo series. Why don't you talk trash about that, you fuckers?
I have people in DMs talking trash about that.
Oh, by all means. You know what? Oh, they didn't do. Cortana's not blue. Oh my God. Like, dude, it's a fucking TV show. Okay.
Exactly.
They're trying to make their own damn story. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, talk now. I can agree with that, Chris.
Yo, Crispy about to go off on a rant. Yo, he about to go
off.
I can get with. Well, let's see. Mega, what do you think about the whole Kojima thing? Do you think do you think that he's going over to PlayStation side? Do you think that the quote unquote evidence here with Death Stranding being on the website, on the banner that shows, like, first party studios, their games, their characters or whatnot, do you think that is a concrete piece of evidence here that Kojima might be going in that direction, like full time first party?
Yeah, no, it makes more sense. That now, instead of where I don't agree with you, where you're saying it just doesn't fit the Xbox mold. I 100%, 10,000% disagree with you. But when you're saying a better fit, PlayStation is the better place for him because he's had more interactions with Nintendo and PlayStation, and then here towards the middle end of his career, PlayStation. So it's a better marriage, you would think, going forward. It'd be kind of like an odd marriage for Xbox to acquire him. But I don't know how this would play out. But yeah, no, I think that Sony would most likely would acquire him with probably maybe some kind of give because Kojima can get what he wants pretty much. So like if he wants to work on some other projects outside of PlayStation, like supposedly this Xbox game, then that's gonna go forward. And then everything else will go there. And then maybe a Konami, a Konami IP like Metal Gear stay exclusive to PlayStation. I see that being a direction where they will go, because I still think that those studios, those games or the IPs from Konami aren't for sale. I really do think that is it. I don't think that there is no full buying Konami, but I don't know. We'll see. But that would make more sense. Give Kojima his baby back, be on PlayStation. That's cool. But with the whole Death Stranding situation, I've played it. It's very weird. And then what his comments were, what Pred said, like I made a comment, it caused a lot of shit, because that's what I first kind of talked about, like Xbox gamers play Japanese games. And 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 we celebrate them and all this other stuff. Like just because you
How
listen
dare
to
you? How dare you say
right,
that?
yeah, like you on some bullshit. But of course, he had to be humbled because his game didn't sell very well, and even though no matter how much they tried to push it or whatever, so he did have to put some pews into this expansion. So I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Okay, all right, Kojima, I see you. You put some gun. You gonna put some. It's gonna be like a little plastic gun. I got you, but it's still it's still a pew pew. You know what I'm saying? You still put it. You still Americanize this game so you can try to get more sales. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cop it. And I seen that it was on sale with the DLC. Got it for a good deal of $15. So I said, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that for you, Kojima, because you got humble. Because beforehand, I wasn't gonna touch another Kojima game because I just like.
Well, you had a bad run-in with his
yeah,
crew.
at E3, yeah, like Super G, man, I'll never forget it. Super G was really good. Super G, aka the driver, man, really good dude, man, and he was just ecstatic when he seen Kojima. And then he had bodyguards around him, and then dude pushed him back, like, yo, and Kojima just looked at him, walked off, like, yo, you can't talk to me. Like, what? Bro, everybody has been accessible and to be able to talk to at E3. From Phil Spencer on down to I mean, all types of people. Like I talked to people at Remedy. I talked to tons of developers out there. Like, I mean, it was crazy. And he was the only person that had bodyguards with him. Now, maybe there were some people that was, undercover or something like that or whatever, but he walked through the area and check this out. Paul George and them was there. Because this was just when Paul George was in OKC, but he was out there at E3 playing Fortnite. It was him and some wrestlers and a whole bunch of people. They were accessible. And Kojima walking with bodyguards, bro, it blew my mind. It blew my mind. But other than that, it is what it is, man. His work, his work. Like, I mean, if you look at his overall work, yeah, it's I mean, like you go into his earlier work, his amazing work in his earlier part of his career. Later in the year, it seems he wants to try to make this movie-esque type of try to change the industry.
He wants to make movies at some point.
Yeah. He wants to do the interactive thing with games and movies and all that. And I see that. I seen that with the last Metal Gear. But you can't deny his game. All his games look great. There's not one game that he's made that looks like garbage. All his games look absolutely amazing. So he's really good at that. But I do feel that Xbox would benefit for having that type of talent, regardless of how you look at it, to be added to have a game added to the Xbox portfolio, because those things are needed to make to give that overall variety that Xbox is trying to seek, like they were with the OG Xbox and with the 360. So I think that would be a good look. But I feel that PlayStation, it's a better fit for him over there at PlayStation. I do think that Kojima Productions will be a PlayStation studio, and we'll see what's going to be the bigger thing after that. I don't think it's a Square Enix. I think it's got something to do with Konami and maybe a couple of their IPs. So let's just hope that Bloody Roar and Castlevania doesn't get caught. But I mean, Kojima did work on Castlevania as well. So if they can get Castlevania, Metal Gear Solid, that's a huge win. That's a big win for Sony on that. Now, is it on the Activision deal? Absolutely not. But it's still that would be a much more significant win than the Bungie thing to me. But we'll see what's going to happen down the line.
I mean, Bungie, the whole Bungie thing was a purchase out of desperation. I believe I said this when it happened.
Oh yeah.
If you look at what Xbox did when it comes to first person shooters, they pretty much have them all, except like all the main ones, and they're acquiring Activision when it comes to Call of Duty as well. They would basically have them all, except for Destiny. Sony had to go out there and do something to kind of lock down.
Oh yeah, their fan base
Bungie.
was saying, now y'all got to do something. Y'all got to do something. This is the fear is really set.
They basically were buying up the genre, is what they were doing with getting
Oh.
Doom, having Halo, like any of the main when it comes down to it,
bro shooters, fuck yeah.
The foundation of FPSs.
Yeah.
Microsoft was grabbing them all, so Sony just looked and said, Bungie, what do you want?
Right.
What's the price right here? They're like, well, the price is this much, but we need to remain independent and stuff like that. They're like, oh shit, we don't really have a choice right now. That's what we got to do.
Yeah, so, absolutely right.
Yeah,
right.
It was out of desperation. I feel anyway. I know there's some people in chat that would say I'm wrong, but
I totally could agree with you on that.
Yeah. Otherwise, they push them completely out of that. The way
because Sony, if Xbox got Bungie, Activision and Bungie. What? Now, that would be kind of weird, but of course, Obsidian. You know what I'm saying? And what's the other studio that wasn't big fans of each other? Was it NXile or
Obsidian?
Oh no! It was Bethesda and Obsidian. Yeah, like they had some beef. So yeah, but that would have put a bow on everything, because you know what I'm saying, and then only Xbox needed to do was just try to just to go ahead and just do a partying gift of saying we got WB or something like that, or it would have been
Fahim,
all
I don't believe I'm wrong, Fahim. I don't. You might believe I'm wrong. That's all good, man. Everybody you got.
Yeah, no, I've seen too many PlayStation people on social media that was screaming on Reddit everywhere. Like once that Activision deal was made, like that put the fear of gaming God all these cats. It was crazy. They're like, Sony's got to do something. So people start talking up. Yeah, people keep talking up about acquisitions and stuff like that. So we'll see. We'll see.
Let's get Predator in on the whole Kojima thing. Or did I start?
He started with Predator.
Yeah, he started with again.
I'm trying to get more Pred. Is what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to get more Pred into the show.
Go to my OnlyFans. You all friends you want.
I don't want to get that much Pred. Yeah. But guys, let's talk about the whole acquisition thing, because this is insane. Now, I know I use Twitter for entertainment while I'm at work. I work 12 hours a day. Basically, the warehouse I work in, it's a closed environment. They have to control like everything. They have the air going through a special like system and stuff like that, because I deal with like making food containers, and they need their special license. So we don't really have any windows or anything like that, and I use Twitter for entertainment throughout the day. And one thing I've noticed that there just seems to be so many people that are into business law that I had no idea before the announcement that Microsoft was, indeed trying to acquire Activision Blizzard. Like, because all of a sudden they have become professionals in business law in terms of why this deal is not going through. It has been insane, you've had people like Red Dragon talk about it. For people who don't know, Jabari, who's like, shut this down. There are Sony extremists pleading to politicians to shut this acquisition down, and it's insane, because most of the stuff that we're seeing, from what I know, is the typical steps with such a big acquisition, with big companies that are involved. And it even came down to where there's a firm that represents, I believe it's 0.6% of the shareholders of Activision Blizzard, and that firm recommended to the shareholders, again, 0.6%. They have 0.6% of the entire shares. which is not a lot, guys. They told them that they should turn it down because it doesn't value the company properly. And there's just so many people that are saying that this deal is not going through because of this, because of that. I feel that there's just so many salty people out there that just don't want this to happen. Crispy, what do you think about this, man? And the sudden kind of like sprouting up of all these people with like business law degrees and such, and coming out and saying why this deal isn't going to be done, and it's been absolutely insane. What is your take on the whole acquisition process here, and what do you think is going to be the end result at the end of the day?
I personally think people are just shocked that it's not the same as Bethesda. Bethesda is not a publicly traded company. ZeniMax was not at the time. So
Okay.
actually it went through much quicker than what we have now. Activision is a publicly traded company. Not only that, their assets involved like King, for example. You know what I mean? Like they are like astronomical. So this certain group of people, which is very small little smidgen amount, said we're going to go against this. Now, could it be because of publicity? They'll be one of the first if, when it's all said and done. Even though they're not the largest, they're one of the first that says no. And all of a sudden they get, positive publicity for some people, negative for others. It's all a big game. At the end of the day, this means absolutely nothing. It really doesn't. So in logicalness, I have, purchased stocks that I've purchased enough of them because they're such a small company that they merge with somebody else or get bought out, and I can go and listen to the calls. I can go and vote, but you have to realistically think about it. I have what 1,000 shares or something like that, and like a very like I bought them at like 50 cents, and these other companies have like 1,000,000 of them. My vote's not going to matter. I only had a seat at the table. That's all I had. Okay. And I could say no, and it's going to mean jack fucking shit. So get your head out of your ass. Stop running with this. Okay. This is exactly what I've seen people that are in the know even more than me just, investing. They're in the know more, and they say there's going to be a couple rogues that have a decent amount of shares that are going to just say, you know what, we're not with this. At the end of the day, their stock has not risen above what the offer is so far. So I don't know. I mean, it's what I call, let's have some, shit to talk about, to trash Xbox, something like that. At the end of the day, armchair analytics is like what I'm talking about right now. But if you've been in, the actual thing that's happening, you would know that, you actually do have a seat at the table. That doesn't mean that it means anything. Kind of like how our voting system works at times. Just saying.
Dude, Crispy, it is so funny to me the amount of people out there that are screaming to not let this acquisition through. And when it comes down to it, the gamers out there, they're not really missing out on the main things, the main games from this. Call of Duty is still going to be multi-plat.
Let's think about this for a second, because they're thinking Sony purchased them. Sony is not capable of purchasing them unless they take out a huge loan, and basically another company is going to basically own part of that, and they're going to have to pay back that loan. It's not feasible. $70 billion, they don't have that in the bank. Microsoft does. Okay, they're paying this cash. A lot of people don't realize it. This is why you're going to see a bunch of bullshit, and it's all to cater to, stupidity. Like, hey, I just need to write an article today, so here you go. And it's one of those things, you have no clue what the hell is actually going on. I don't have a damn clue. All I can tell you is what I've experienced, and for one single entity to go and say, you don't do this. That doesn't mean everybody's going to listen. I don't even think they have a seat at the board, if I'm not mistaken. So if they don't have a seat at the board, you're talking like millions upon millions of shares that are sitting there on the board, and they might have, you know, 1 million if they're lucky.
The board
You know what I
the
mean?
board itself is actually encouraging the rest of the shareholders to vote yes on this. Like they want to get it through. And another thing about this is you look at, like, was it Elizabeth Warren and a couple other of these politicians that are out there. You guys got to remember something. It's an election year, guys. When it comes down to it, it's an election year, and these people are trying to posture themselves to have something to stand for in certain cases. It doesn't mean that it's not as major as like other people out there are trying to make it out to be. They're trying to just get their voice out to be heard. So this way they catch people who are gonna be in the ballot, in the ballot box on election day, to be like, yeah, I remember Elizabeth Warren. She was she was standing up for this, and I can dig that for people who don't get into the gaming industry or whatnot. So there are people that are also using this stage to kind of show who they are again, and you get people more like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna vote for them when it comes down to it. It doesn't mean that they're going in, wholehearted, and they're gonna absolutely try to dead stop this whole thing from going through. Like, and I feel like that's something that not a lot of people have talked about as well. When it comes to a election year, these politicians, like, they get loud. They get loud. See me, hear me, look at me over here. Remember me. And then, and then once they're elected, they kind of go back to their office or whatnot.
Defer.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it, and it's insane. Again, I feel like these people, they're not necessarily missing out on what they feel they when it comes to Call of Duty. That's what it's about. Let's be real. It's about Call of Duty. But Call of Duty is going to remain multiplat. Now, having Call of Duty in Game Pass,
that's multiplat, actually.
Huh?
I think it's going to be totally multiplat.
Yeah.
I think they're looking at Minecraft right now, and they're like, you know what, this IP is just as good.
Yeah, but what they're going to do is they're going to put it in Game Pass day and date, which would absolutely be huge when it comes to that service. Completely. Like, and that's a big thing when they're looking at Call of Duty. That's kind of like their plan there. Remain multiplat, but market the shit out of it that as being in Game Pass day and date. And you're going to get a lot of people that, almost religiously buy Call of Duty every year, now looking at Game Pass and being like, well, if I just put down this money per year, I'm getting that game plus. And that's a big thing to, that's the huge thing when it comes to Xbox and the Call of Duty side of this. But let's get K Mega. I'm gonna end it with Predator, so this way I know I didn't get to Predator is what I'm gonna do. So let's go to K Mega on this one again. Mega, so many people now have kind of like a bachelor's in business law out there that I had no idea. Man, they're out there, trying to talk about, the reasons why this shouldn't happen, why it's not going to go through. But from what I see from standards, when it comes to these kind of like acquisitions, aka even mergers, like, we're just going through the typical processes here, and they're just so ready to try to say that this isn't gonna go this way. So many people want it squashed. It's absolutely insane, man. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, people just have to. It's kind of like what Crispy was starting off with. Remember when people were talking about Game Pass and how that wasn't sell, services wouldn't sell, all the gaming media was all behind it, that these things is not going to happen. That's that just takes away from the the essence of what makes a gamer, a console gamer, blah 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 blah. Now look at what the industry is doing. Remember they talked about discs, and every console, discs are much more important, and digital games wouldn't be a thing, or it would be, what I'm saying, it would be only a small amount of people that would participate in them.
It's becoming the majority.
It's been the majority. It's already it's damn near killing discs. I mean, shit. Like, I mean, it's 80+%. It's 80% on higher, because it was 78 3 years ago. So it's look, man. Bottom line. I mean, I said this on GRG. I was sitting there talking to Attic and them the other night. And I just said, look, man, going after, and I said this on the next podcast last week about going after Warren and Booker and all them and calling her a pony and all that stupid shit. Y'all ridiculous. Y'all got to stop. Y'all got to be better than that. They don't care about the aspect of gaming or PlayStation or Xbox. That what Bot is saying is right to a degree.
Election year.
It's more than that. It's posturing. It's that every merger, going all the way back to Exxon, it's one of those things where people, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie and all them, they have been behind and wanting to regulate, because some of these things are fraudulent. Like, I mean, the Comcast situation was shady. It was shady, but so they want to regulate this, and so this is a big merger, but by law, what's in the books? Nothing's going to stop this merger. Nothing. It's going to happen. And if midterms, they usually always swing for the opposite party. So when Trump was in office, the Democrats won. Usually when Obama was in office, the Republicans won. So this is kind of teetering, going to where the Republicans is going to take over the Senate. And that they're big business happy, so they're not going to change shit. There's not anything that's going to happen. So if the midterms do come and the Republicans win, it's still going to happen. It doesn't really matter. Even if the Republicans don't win, there's no laws that's in the books that can stop this acquisition. It's not going to happen. It might be prolonged a little longer, because but the media is over here trying to scare people because this is one of these things to where they want to talk about. They want to get people to talk about, because they know that the PlayStation community is scared as shit about this. They are.
Why are they so scared though? Like, I don't.
Well, I mean, everything beyond. I mean, you just look at everything beyond Call of Duty with Activision. You got Diablo. You got Overwatch. You got Candy Crush. You got. I mean, Xbox can pull off some. If they said that they don't want to do the backwards compatibility thing anymore. But let's just say that they're like, you know what, because we got this acquisition, how about we just go ahead and we bring a couple of games, some old games, to get people familiar with them and see how they are in the wild. And should we decide if we want to bring those IPs back? The Cybertron, the Transformers game, Activision, Tenchu, Activision, Blur, Activision. You know what I'm saying? There's tons more other there. Of course, you got Crash Bandicoot, you got Spark. There's so much behind just Activision and what they do, not only just in the console space, but in the mobile space. It's crazy. So it is going to change some things, and I have to push back and say this too. I feel that Microsoft is going to Xbox is going to allow certain Call of Duties to go over to PlayStation. I don't think it's going to be an annual thing anymore for them. I think that they might skip a year and then do it that way. Now, Warzone will always be on PlayStation, but I think that they might skip a year, and then, because if they still do that same rotation where they have 3 different studios working on 3 different Call of Duties, then I don't know. I think they might pull back on that. Some tells me that Microsoft is going to finesse it in some way or shape or form to where people are going to just single-handedly just say, look, man, I'm not even going over to PlayStation. I'm going to just go to Xbox. Because if you just have a Call of Duty on one of those odd years to come to Xbox only, what do you think? What do you say?
That's not happening, bro. That's not happening. They're losing. They'll lose.
No, they ain't gonna lose no money. They're not gonna lose no money because they're gonna get it back.
They'll release it on Game Pass.
They'll release some Game Pass. They ain't gonna lose no money. They're gonna gain. They're gonna gain. If you sit there and you
plus,
they're gonna put some Call of Duties on PlayStation. But I feel if they're gonna do the same 3 rotation thing, and if they do, then I think that they'll keep one. I'll think that they'll just kind of do a little. I don't know, but regardless of that, whatever. I still think that they're going to do something. They're going to do something to the. They're not going to make it all like Minecraft. I think that they got another little strategy with it, but I could be wrong. But again, this is what people over here trying to don't want it to happen, don't want the merger to happen, blah blah blah. Let's just say, for instance, like Sony does acquire one of my favorite studios out there, Namco Bandai. I would be hot. Thank you, fella. I would be hot. Seriously hot. But you know what I got to do? But you know what I got to do? I got to either buy me a PlayStation or I'm just going to primarily just keep it on PC because Tekken is never going to see the light of day on Xbox ever again. So it's just not. It's just not. You and I, you know that, I know that. Anyway, and let's think about the other games that's across the board on with Namco Bandai. Like, I mean, they're like those games would most likely, I would say 80% of those games would stay on PlayStation only. So how is it that people can't get this through their head that Xbox is going to do the same thing with some of these IPs? And you know what I'm saying? Overwatch?
Well, yeah, the IP that they care about, like for real, is Call of Duty. That's the big one that, but that's not saying that other games aren't going to be.
I think that they'll honor they'll honor their agreement, and then after that, anything is up in the air. And I think at that point they'll just say, look, we'll figure a way we'll cut around to where Sony's going to give us what we want, or we'll just play hardball. I think that and Sony knows this, and the PlayStation community that hates Xbox knows this as well. See, because remember, we was having the same discussion about Bethesda. We ain't having it now because everybody thinks that Xbox is too soft. No, Xbox is just playing chess. So this is the thing for me is on the whole overall thing, so you can get the bread, is that it's going to go through. It may be prolonged a little bit, but there is nothing stopping that. Plus, on top of that, Microsoft is all in the government's business. They know everything. They're getting funded by the government. Microsoft is all in. Like, all they got to do is just go sit there, man. Let me call President Biden, right? Let me call the treasurer right here. Bro, what the hell are you doing? Now, we over here stopping all these other things that's going on right here. Don't let me hit a button. I mean, they ain't going to say that, but I'm just saying, like, they got access to all of the OGs. They call all the OGs, let them know, hey, we got to get this done. So it's going to get done. Ain't nothing stopping this. And on top of that, if that Marvel and Disney deal got done, ain't nothing stopping this. Because like I mean, Activision Xbox thing is Microsoft Activision thing is nowhere.
It is before they got acquired, though. Let's be real. Like, they were really big, like comics. They dabbled in a little, a couple movies.
Spider-Man was big. Blade was big. Spider-Man was big. What are you talking about? Like, Marvel was still a huge entity.
Okay.
And it was so big that, like, it did cause them a year or two before they got everything done, and then the Fox Disney merger, all those deals are the AT&T
The Fox
Discovery.
Disney one, that was surprising that it was as quick
Yeah,
as
like
it was.
all those deals are much bigger than Microsoft Activision, in my opinion, and all those went through. So if those,
And
a
they
couple of them,
basically, when they announced this, they gave
yeah,
themselves a pretty big timetable. There are people saying like
yeah,
this acquisition is going to be really quick, but their kind of like guesstimation on that was like going towards the end of 2023 is when everything's going to be kind of like finalized and done. Like they gave
yeah, no,
themselves
yeah, they
a
gave
huge
people
amount of
this thing
time.
is going to be done this year. This thing is going to be done this year because politicians they're doing what you said, like they're saying they're over here making these talks,
Look
and
at
they're trying
me!
to
Look at
yeah,
me!
look at me, I'm over here trying to represent you, and then Microsoft is going to get on the phone, call somebody he's representing, back off. We good. Everything's all right. We ain't trying to hustle nobody. We got Game Pass. We give
We
kids about 5 years
we,
of Game Pass. You
dude,
know what
I
I'm
think
saying?
that was the
Don't worry
quote of the
about it.
night. We ain't trying to hustle
Yeah.
nobody. We got Game Pass.
Yeah.
That's the quote of the
Yeah.
night.
So no, it is definitely it's a big deal because of the merger, the acquisition, but it's not a big deal when it comes to all of this hoopla about
It
what.
is so
Yeah,
funny to
it's just
see
talk. It
the
is funny to see them though.
fear
They're
out
scared.
there from the extremists like that don't want this to happen. Like people that wouldn't care if it was any other company doing this whole
Oh, man.
thing, but the fear, it's absolutely it's hilarious, man. But we gotta get Pred on here. This is our business major right here, Mr. Predator. So Pred, when it comes to this acquisition, again, so many people out there are faking the funk like they know what's going on and such. But dude, with what we've seen so far and how this is all panning out, to me it just looks like they're going through standard motion. It's just that it is also an election year, so you're hearing maybe some more voices. But it is a big merger. It is a big acquisition. So but have you seen anything different? Is there anything that would give you the red flag? And what do you think about the response out there, man? So many people just seem to be so salty right now, bro.
These little fucking. Here's the thing: who's complaining? Is Google complaining? Is Amazon complaining? Is Sony complaining? The people who are going to be, you know, the companies that you would think would be trying to file antitrust lawsuits or some kind of lawsuit saying this isn't fair. It would be those companies, right? They're
That
in the
is a
gaming industry.
great point. I didn't even think of
None of
that,
them are
yo.
complaining. The only people that are complaining are the fanboys. So there you go. Have we seen any legal documentation saying that the FCC was going to stop this? No. Was it FCC? FCC? Whatever company, whatever it is. Like
It's
we've
the
not seen
FCC.
anything. We hear rumblings, but I don't. No one's. We're not hearing it from the people who we need to hear from. We're hearing it from fans that don't like the fact that this is happening. So like, it's gonna go through. And here's the other aspect of it. Microsoft is one of the biggest companies in the world. Do you think A, they did not think about this? B, they have not already talked to politicians and are rubbing noses with those motherfuckers behind the scenes already to make sure this shit goes through? There's a problem.
Facts.
Like, you know how much money Microsoft has tied into the government itself alone?
Facts.
I mean, like it's gonna go through. Like, let it ride, bro. It's a gaming. It's a gaming company they're purchasing. It'd be different if it was like. Here's the thing: for them to be a monopoly, they'd have to own everything, right? Like, I can start up a gaming company tomorrow. You can. Anybody can, right? You can always make startup companies to make video games. It isn't like they're buying up every fucking video game company out there and saying none of this stuff's going to go on Sony. None of this stuff's going to go on PC or Steam or Epic or anything like that. They're just saying we're buying this so we can own it, but we're still going to give it to you. You have avenues to buy this stuff. You don't see this happening in the music industry. You don't see this happening in the movie industry at all. Like it's like there's multiple companies out there that make music. There's multiple companies out there that make movies. They can buy each other out, right? Like they always have been doing, and merge and do whatever the fuck they want to do. And we've never heard any issues about it. But all of a sudden, Microsoft does it, and it's just the fanboys talk. It has nothing to do with anything business related. It's gonna go through. Just let it ride, people. Stop crying about it. Get you an Xbox. They're out there on the shelves now. You get your Series S right now for $199, $299. What is it now? Just
Oh, hold
let
on,
it go,
hold
bro.
on, hold on one second. Fahim, you are my bro, but what do you mean bribing people for chips? If the rumor is true and they bought like priority when it comes to
We had this
chips to make
conversation last week.
consoles,
We had it
yo,
last week. Yeah.
that means that Sony had an equal opportunity to do the same thing. All right, it is
Yeah.
not.
But their bag
is
isn't
not-
big enough.
Well,
Bot.
it's not
Come
Well,
on.
Xbox
they
fault.
buying Kojima.
It's not Xbox fault if
Yeah.
Sony's wallet cannot handle stuff like that. Yo,
We'll
shout
tell
out
them
to
that.
hold on, shout out to my boy Next Gen, because he at one point had said when it comes to Xbox, when it comes to Microsoft, be the behemoth that you are. And if that rumor is true, because it's never been confirmed, it has never been verified, but if that rumor is true, they're doing exactly what Next Gen said. They are being the behemoth that they are. They are using their biggest asset when it comes down to it to make sure that more Xbox fans get the Xbox console. It is not bribing for chips. My bad, Predator. I just had to throw that. When I saw that in the chat, I was like, really, bro? Really? You gonna do
I was
that?
wondering where you're getting that from. I was looking at my chat when you said that. It's like, but yeah, I mean, like we talked about that last week. That's like, even if that's on that same topic, even if that was true, they didn't do anything but spend money. You're allowed to do that in America. You know what I'm saying? Like you got the money, you can buy what the fuck you want with it. You can buy what
This
you
is
want with it. Like
America.
it's not our fault. We were first in line. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and they didn't have a. Again, we talked about this last week. Like, okay, yeah, so I'm in line to buy something. You're selling it, and I got the money to buy as many as you have. Then that's called capitalism, bro. Sorry. It's like I said, well, anyway, back to this other bullshit. So yeah, that's not. This deal's going to go through. I mean, I know people are like, they don't want it to go through, but all they're doing though, this is the mind fuck that they're doing. They're setting it up for the next purchase that Microsoft gets. Because if this one, when this one goes through, and Microsoft says, you know what, we're going to buy Ubisoft too, right? Then they've already got this monopoly mindset in place right now. They've already put that bug in our head. So now, next company Sony decides to buy, Microsoft decides to buy, next major purchase they make on this level, we're going to hear this stuff again, and we're going to keep hearing it until somebody steps in and does something. But the thing is, let's say they buy WB, let's say they buy Sega, right? And they buy like two more companies. Like then you'll start hearing these rumblings where people are like, okay, this is getting out of hand. And you might see Sony step in. You might see, Amazon or somebody else step in. But again, they're gonna have the same problem. Anybody can make a video game company. Like it's not Microsoft's fault. They have the money to buy the ones they want. They might not want your company, but maybe they want this other one over here. Sony can buy those. Sony's buying companies too. We're not hearing anything about that shit. How many companies has Sony purchased this past year and a half?
About 5, 6.
Yeah. Where's that same talk? Where's that same energy?
Where's the bribery when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Remake? Where's the bribery when it comes to that? Like,
see, that's different. That's a game. See, this is like we're talking about a whole company, right? So,
no, I got
like,
you, man.
like, you know what I'm saying?
It's on a smaller scale, way smaller scale, but
yeah. But the thing is, they can still buy small companies. You can still buy big companies. You're still able to go out there and buy companies. So there's never going to be a monopoly in the video game industry because you can always just create another company. So it's not like there's only 15 companies. Microsoft owns 12 of them. Like, that's a monopoly. You can go out there and make a fucking company to make video games any day of the week. So there's never going to be a monopoly. So stop with the nonsense. Like, it's just like if Sony can buy 5 companies, so can Microsoft. It's not about the company you're buying. It's not even about the number of companies you're buying. You guys are talking like a monopoly as if they own everything, and they'll never own every video game company out there, just ever. Is this Microsoft pick the big 5 and Sony pick the small 5? I mean, like, that's the only thing that's the difference.
And to piggyback off of that too is something that I said that I think that's really actually beginning to happen is that these smaller, older, these older studio publishers, they're beginning to start now feeling a little bit of they're starting to get long in the tooth, and some of them seem to be a little bit nervous. And that's why, Tencent and the Embers Group and then Sony and Microsoft, Amazon, and starting to pick them up, because if you notice, the only ones that's really left from the old guard is like Capcom, Namco, Sega, the Nintendo, Xbox, but see, all these old, like Platinum Games is in jeopardy, if you ask me. You look at Capcom, there was in jeopardy for a minute, but then they bounced back. Namco Bandai is better than ever, but you look at Sega was in jeopardy there for a while. If you look at this, there's only going to be a few studios that's going to be standing. Like Konami hasn't really done anything, and if the stuff that they've done, it's not really resonated to anybody. So that seems to be probably the next thing in line to get got. So and then if you look and you see all, like Press said, all these new studios that's coming out. Like there's one studio that I think were old from EA. I forgot what that studio, the big studio from EA. BioWare. They're making that game Arc something. Fred, me and you talked about it when we seen it last year, where it's a shooter, it was open world, and it was like 4-player co-op, and it was like with lasers and shit. This shit looked amazing. Game looked fun as hell. It's called Arc something. Or something. But see, these type of studios is going to be coming in. Even the new studio that's going to be working on the Knights of the Old Republic remake. That's a brand new studio, or a newer studio. So I think while the old guards are about to start, except for the ones that just can still sustain, they're going to probably maintain. But all the rest of them around that are going to start want to probably get acquired, because they're falling off, and these newer ones is going to become the new 505 and then maybe eventually Capcoms and this and that. So I just think that the industry is going through a whole big change, not only with just in gaming, but just with the industry itself, going with all these publishers and stuff like that.
Dude, I just think it is absolutely, it is insane the amount of people that when it comes down to it, this deal is done. And regardless of what K Mega said on this, because I will, I'm gonna be on the other side of that table. Like you're still getting your Call of Duty again. Other games
For now,
other games, under this whole thing could definitely be exclusive to Xbox. But the big one, the one that like most people care about, when it comes down to it, the people that are crying out there, you're still getting that game on your system. Like they even came out and said, no, we're keeping Call of Duty multiplat. Like you're still getting. The only difference would be that Call of Duty would be day and date in Game Pass, and unless you just absolutely don't want Xbox to succeed, I don't see why you're flipping out about this. And that would be the only reason. All right, because they're not taking that game away from you. The only thing that they will be doing is putting it into Game Pass day and date. So basically, the people that are out there that are doing this and they're trying to say shut it down and stuff like that, you're just showing that the only thing you are concerned about is making sure that Xbox does not succeed, that Xbox does not compete, and that everything goes to basically PlayStation. That's all you're showing out there. But guys, we are almost at 10:30. It is pretty much that point in time. We got to wind this down. I got games to play. It is the start of my vacation, man. I don't even know what I'm jumping into. But I am powering up my system right now. I gotta say, huge shout out to the chat. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We are here live every Thursday. I would say around 8 p.m. because when I work, it's a little bit later. But around 8 p.m. It is good to see everybody in the chat. And like a 40-year-old with a comb over, it is time to get those plugs in. And let's start with K Mega tonight. Why not? Let's start with his Dead Sea Scroll of stuff to announce and let people know about, including tomorrow's show, right, K Mega?
Yeah. Why don't you, since you got some time off, why don't you come on tomorrow? Hop on with us.
Yeah, no doubt.
Tomorrow.
I'm down.
Okay, yeah, come on and do it because Ham Solo, he's gonna take his daughter to a WWE.
Oh, hold on, I can't talk with Ham. I can't.
Well,
Ham won't be there.
Yeah, no, Ham ain't gonna be there.
Damn, then I don't know, man. I don't know. Like
well,
that was the whole thing.
That's fine.
But
fine.
Seriously, I do like your addition, man. People gotta tune in and check out him as well.
Yeah, Ham was a cool dude, man. Ham was real cool. But the ladies will be there. Sir X-Man will be there, so I you know what I'm saying. So I need somebody else to come there to because Sir X-Man's gonna torture.
Oh yeah, I'll go there. I'll make sure. I'll keep Sir X-Man boxed in. All right, man.
Keep him boxed in because he's gonna talk about an old game going to rant. So it is. What it is.
He's gonna talk about an old game like we all played it. Like you know what I'm talking about. It's like, dude,
right? Yeah.
Touch that game.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. Shout out to Sir X-Man.
Shout out to Sir X-Man. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd be cool if you come through. Other than that, GRG will be on tomorrow night. You know what I'm saying? We'll be displaying the fire gameplay, showing a little bit of what I've been playing. Now, I'm right now while I was doing the show, I was playing Pure. You know what I'm saying? And I forgot how fun this game was.
I saw your tweet earlier, man, about that.
Yeah, man. So shout out. So I got to give a shout out to Sir X-Man for that because I didn't know that it was backwards compatible. And I said, man. And I seen it when I was going through and I was going on a little game buying spree. And then I seen it. It was like $4. So I was like, oh, shit. You just got to buy the hard copy. So, for those who have a 1X or hell, even an Xbox One Fat or a Series X, you can sit there and you can pick the game up because they don't sell it digitally, which is unfortunate. But yeah, no, it was only $4. So yeah, so go check that out. Yeah, man, just gonna be just kind of playing some games. I got to get back into the motion. I haven't done Fight Night in like 2 weeks, man. Just too many real life things, man. Shit to do with my homeboy's ceremony, balloon ceremony, since he didn't have a actual service for his, didn't have an actual funeral service. So we got together and we did that. So I've been kind of dealing with that, dealing with my mom still and all this other stuff. So just real life has been hitting. So Don has been doing the same thing, dealing with his family and stuff, on his end, just we getting at the age where we got to start taking care of our parents now. So I will be, I said it last week and I apologize, but I was so wore out. I passed out at like 7 o'clock.
Oh, damn.
Sunday.
Now
7 o'clock.
Now you're sounding like an old person, man.
Yeah, I passed out at 7 o'clock and then wake up until like 3 o'clock in the morning Sunday.
I passed out
like,
watching Jeopardy.
No, I just passed out. I was just exhausted. So I will be there for Fight Night Sunday. So yeah, we'll do that. And then Devin the Gamer will be back and all that other stuff. And I will have to look at somebody to do a fight. I will keep doing that. And then here real soon, the RRP podcast will be dropping on Sunday evening. So yeah, we'll got a lot of stuff I got going on, so I hope you guys will come and check it out. But GRG's first. Come and check us out tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central, the Lord's time.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, he had to throw that Central in there. But, yo, Predator! Man, yeah, are you still next podcast exclusive? Is there anybody reaching out? What's going on, man? What do you got for outro?
I'm the forgotten son of the gaming podcast. I stopped doing other shows. No one hits me up anymore. So I just do this show. That's all.
You say that so
anyway,
sad.
So you guys are enough. Every now and then I'll jump on GRG at the last minute. But nothing else going on. Just hopefully trying to get back into some games eventually. I've been down in the dumps and I didn't really want to play anything. So
Oh, I hate that feeling,
That's it.
bro. I hate
He's
that.
been
Yeah, so
on
every time
his
I turn it,
OnlyFans.
every time I turn it on, I was like, I don't want to play this.
You,
So
you just don't want to play anything. It's just like, yeah, fuck it.
Mhm.
the
Just
only time I
play.
turn my PC on, dude, is the show. That's it. So and it stays on. I've not turned my Xbox on since I got in this apartment. So maybe I just do updates, and I haven't turned it on in a couple of weeks. Actually, I haven't played anything. So I don't know. I'll get into something eventually. Waiting on
Don't
the next round of games to come out, even though I still need to play.
don't worry, yo. Season 2 of Halo is right around the corner, bro. Just saying.
Whatever. I didn't play season 1. People still play Halo?
Yeah, they do.
So,
Yeah. That's another thing, yo. You notice how everybody uses Steam numbers when it comes to Halo. Like even though Halo is in I I I can't say the top 10 because it's dropped down to 11 when it comes to most played games on Xbox. Like, dude, like they're trying to say the game's dead, but okay, that's a whole other rant, because we got to talk about Steam numbers. But all right, bro,
See y'all next week.
it's always good to have you on, and definitely check out his OnlyFans. Throwing that money for
Yeah.
that content for
Subscribe
this
to
man.
Bread's OnlyFans.
Yeah.
We don't have his number one fan on the show right now.
He was
He was in the chat.
What
Oh,
was that?
whoa.
What
Bruh.
what was that?
Whoa.
Dude, that seems like a perfect segue to go to Crispy and Crispy's
Ooh.
outro, bro. What do you got going on, man?
Well, I almost fell asleep like trying to play Horde with Sir X-Men on Gears 2. That almost made me fall asleep. But
Damn.
Ooh.
shout out to Sir X-Men.
Well, if you let him drink moonshine, he will fall asleep while playing. So
Oh,
just letting you
man.
know.
Well, I've been a part of that. I think I fell asleep once or twice myself, so I'm not going to sit here and bullshit. At Chris Baum on Twitter, Chris Baum 28 Xbox Live. We got Retro Renegades Tuesday night 7 p.m. The next podcast Thursday 8 p.m. prime time, and of course on Breakfast and Boom next week 10 a.m. Friday.
Nice. That is right. We are here prime time every Thursday, 8 p.m. Again, shout out
8:15. No.
8:15ish, in days I work, you know what I'm saying? But we're in the prime time area. Again, shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Definitely do appreciate it. If you haven't done it yet, hit that thumbs up button and share the show out. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. But we will see you next week for the next podcast. Have a great night, everybody. And you distracted me by chewing in my ear. Have a great night,
Oh,
everyone.
yeah. You don't like when you eat in his ear.
Yeah, he does.
No, I don't.
Oh,
Downs, the voice of Master Chief, Spartan 117. And you're tuned in to next podcast. Now, wake me when you need me.